What up, though? Welcome back to the Beat Factory 313, and I'm your host, Juice. And I told y'all I was gonna have a very special guest for y'all tonight. We got tonight with us. Introduce yourself. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Name is Timothy S. Crawford
Oh,
Jr.
hold on. Let me do it again. Let me hook the speak where they can hear you. Tell them again. Let them know who you are.
My name is Timothy S. Crawford Jr.,
And what
son of criminal defense attorney Timothy S. Crawford Sr.
and tell us what brings you here today, brother.
Well, what brings me here today, brother? I've been sitting back for years,
Mm-hmm.
watching the stories on YouTube for a while, and slowly and surely, it's been getting around to situation regarding my father.
Um,
Certain individuals back then that had certain powers.
okay.
And as of now, the story we about here now, so it's time to speak.
And let the viewers know who your father was.
My father, Timothy S. Crawford Sr., was a well-known criminal defense attorney in the mid to late '80s, early '90s. He went down in a criminal indictment in 1993.
Okay. And how did that affect you then? How old were you in 1993? Do you recall?
I was 3 years old.
3 years old. Wow. And how much time did your father get?
Well, they ended up giving him 20 years, but he didn't end up going in until April the 28th, 2000.
Okay. So how many years later was that?
90 from 93 to 2000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Seven,
that's about 7 years.
years.
So I
Okay.
was about nine. I was about 10 years old. I was a solid 10 when he went away.
Okay. Bet. And what do you remember about your dad before he went away? What do you how was he acting up until the time it was to turn himself in? During them 7 year process, that
you
7 year
know,
process.
it's kind of a funny story, Juice.
Let's get to it then, nephew. I'm with you.
We gonna get into it when when all this taking place. Believe it or not, I didn't even know he was on bond for a very long time. It's kind of funny how the feds work.
Mm-hmm.
They reinstated. He lost his law license for a while, and they reinstated him, and then indicted him again. It was a crazy mix up.
So
He was down for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was back up, and then they snatched it away from him again.
So they took his law license. Let me understand that they took his law license, and that was in '92, and during sometime from '92 and 2000, he regained his law license back.
Yep,
And then before he went in, they stripped him from his license again.
pretty much.
Okay, and what did you see from your dad at that time? Watching
Well,
him go
at
through
that
that.
time when he got back reinstated,
Yeah.
man, he was happy. He felt like he was back on top, back on top again. He had just won a case. I think it was like a personal injury case. He was back trying to work again,
hmm
and he was actually engaged and everything, man. He was the happiest I had ever seen him, man.
That's
But when
what's
they when
up.
they just took him away, it blew us all.
And so after that, then what was the conversations like then once he started getting winded down for him to go in and they took his license back? How was he?
He, truth be told, he didn't see it coming.
Oh,
He
okay.
when you spoke on a couple of criminal the defense attorneys. One was Buffalino.
hmm
He was actually supposed to represent him in his case in 2000, but my dad unfortunately did something else with the money,
Okay.
and it turned back on him. A lot of people said if he would have hired Buffalino, he would have never went to prison.
Man. So how did it affect you?
My dad was my role model, man. He was my world. Growing up as a kid, I ain't looked up to being no basketball player, man. My dad was the man I wanted to be. From the way people respected him in the streets, especially the young guys, they had a lot of respect for him. Whenever he'd go in somewhere, man, I mean, he'd be center of attention. Speak up. You know what I mean? A lot of people love to just speak to him and just have words with him, get a little knowledge from him. I mean, he knew how to spread a lot of love.
That's what's up. And once he went inside your communication, how did it affect you once he left? Was he telling
Yeah.
you about the case?
I
Why he
mean,
had to
at the
go
time,
away?
I was 10 years old. Didn't nobody
Okay.
really want to tell me nothing, man. I never forget it. It was like it was yesterday. Me and
Mhm.
mom, we pulled up to the house. We pulled up to the house, and just so happened the whole family was over there at the house. And it was. I remember it was speculation that day. I was
Mhm.
in school, and one of my teachers had came and pulled me aside and asked, "Was I doing okay?"
Mhm.
And I had no idea what they was talking about. But then later on, when my mom came to pick me up from school, and we went over to my dad's house, and the whole family was over there, that kind of just threw me off. And I just remember my mom coming. She went over there. She was talking to my aunt and my uncle and stuff like that. And I just remember them saying Tim messed up this time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Will and I was used to my dad having little situations. He was very fine with the lady, so unfortunately he'd have a couple situations at the house here and there, but it wouldn't be no more than an overnight situation. But this time it was real. He was gone for real, and that truly it destroyed me.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. So at what age did you find out what he was locked up for?
Probably a hot 15. My grandmother had passed.
Mhm.
His mom, she had passed. And you know what? Before that, I'll never forget. I was in school,
Mhm.
and a kid heard my name. He came up to me. He said, "Man, it," because he heard Junior, and he was like, "Yo, is your father? Was your father a criminal defense attorney by any chance?" And I told him, "Yeah."
Mhm.
I never forget. He told me, he said, "Man, your dad got my dad off the life sentence, man. I don't
Get
know. I
out of
don't know.
here.
I wouldn't know. I don't know what to say to thank you for that. Like for real." I was like, "Man, that meant something to me when he had told me that." So
That's what's
I
up.
started asking questions, and
Mhm.
at this time, the internet, it is what it is, and it's a flip. You can get online and get to looking things up, and I never forgot. Really, I never forget. I looked up his case and
Mhm.
what was involved in, and I was taken back. To be honest with you, I was
Mm.
taken back to even know that my father could even be caught in that type of conspiracy because he was never that type of individual.
What the conspiracy read? Can you read without saying all the names and stuff? Can you read the charges that was brought upon this conspiracy he was involved in?
Uh, well, they had a conspiracy to traffic in cocaine,
Mhm.
conspiracy to tamper with a federal witness.
Mhm.
Uh, and I don't have all the paperwork in front of me right now, but I know
Okay.
those two was like the main ones right there. He beat the he beat the traffic cocaine charges, but they stuck him with that tampering with the federal witness.
So for tampering with a federal witness, they gave him 20 years.
They gave him 20 years, dog.
So what did they try to say that he actually did? Do
They
you
try to say
recall?
that he passed off if sensitive sensitive information on a confidential informant.
Um and what did your father say about it?
He said nah, he wasn't for it. How that situation kind of occurred.
Mhm.
We still ain't calling no names right now, right?
Right, we ain't calling no names yet.
All right. Well, he went to go. Well, he got a call to represent a client, and
Mhm.
there's a mixed story between but behind that. It's maybe a story where
Well, tell the first client. You can we go and give him the first
All
client.
right, well, we're going to go ahead and get it out there. He got a call to represent an individual by the name of Ari Adams, a.k.a. Ponytail.
Okay.
At the time, going to leave it nameless at the moment,
Right.
a family member knew Ponytail and knew my father as a great defense attorney and wanted to make an introduction coming from my my father's mouth as he's telling me the story.
Right.
And
so this all allegedly, y'all. This allegedly. It's coming from his father. Right.
I mean, and what ended up happening is he goes down. He gets a call in the middle of the night. He goes down. He sees the client. He sees what's going on. It was a possession case. I'm not 100% sure exactly what was carrying on with that.
Right.
Like I said, we just in the beginning of this.
Right. It's allegedly
work.
Right.
But he goes down. He sees the client, and they begin to look at the case overall. And with this being said, in one of these visits going to see this client, he wants to pass information off to my father. Now, as a criminal defense attorney, there's do's and there's don'ts. And what he was trying to give to my father was a definite don't. But unfortunately, this individual, with the power that he has, he's just not the type of individual you just tell no at that current moment. So when he passed certain stuff off to my dad ended up just keeping it to himself and wasn't willing to give it to the third party that the individual wanted to. And that caused some issues.
Like, give us an example what your daddy said he suffered trying to do his client a solid. What he endured? What he endured? Allegedly,
due to not passing certain information off, he starts getting visits to his law office from certain individuals allegedly. And now he's being pressured. Well, for one,
this Timothy Crawford's son.
The client doesn't understand. You know, he at the given time he already has pending cases, but you know he's still making it his priority to get to them. And one of the issues was that he wasn't able to show up at court when Ari wanted him to. Allegedly, he would send one of his other associates. So the dude Ari Adams is getting frustrated with that. And with that being said, allegedly, his brother starts making visits up to the law. From there, he's pulling his muscle around, and mind you, at the law office, it's a lot of square individuals. A lot of people just, you know, they love the law. They love what they do. They just come into work to take care of their business and going home.
Right.
You know, they're not used to certain type of surroundings, and unfortunately, the surroundings that are taking place now is getting very uncomfortable.
Right.
And, individuals are coming in, threatening, you know, pressing on what should be done about the case, blase. And you know, it's becoming an uncomfortable environment. A lot of the people that work there are starting to get very uncomfortable. And on top of that, they're coming in after hours, having conversations and talking and stuff. And truth be told, I know at the time, my dad just it was a situation. It was more than what he thought it was going to be.
Okay.
So with that stuff being said, when he does begin to start speaking up about it, like you can't be doing this and that, an individual puts a gun to the back of his head.
Get out of here! This the lawyer.
The lawyer. And then tells him it's that easy. Boom, it's that easy.
And did your dad tell you how he felt behind that?
Yeah. He was terrified. He was terrified about that.
And how that made you feel to hear your dad say this what they was doing to him at his job. He a law
It
by
made me
himself.
angry. It made me angry. It made me wish I was of age to defend the brother, that give him a helping hand, because it just seemed like he ain't know what to do. And he had dealt with plenty of other cats in the street, but these dudes here was just a little different.
Okay. And what he say after they got the pressing him at the office, telling him that put the gun to the back of his head, told him to be that easy. Then what else he say he endured? You know, we go just touch on the little stuff he endured before we close out, because we go say the good stuff for tomorrow. But this is Timothy Crawford's son, Timothy Crawford Jr., Esquire, the lawyer that defended Erie Adams.
Some other stuff he was doing, man. Well, now since they're talking on phones and stuff, wiretaps are starting to come up, and now he's starting to get attention that he doesn't need. You know what I mean? Because now it's bad enough the feds is already looking at these individuals,
Mm-hmm.
and from what I've been told and through my investigation, they believe that he was starting to become too friendly with them,
too involved
with them, and like I said, it's always two sides to a story. But at the end of this, you know, he ended up he ended up getting tied up at one point, and you know what I mean, pretty much tortured for information.
Physically tied up.
You know, the feds don't talk about none of that.
Right. So he said he got physically tied up by the people he was representing.
Well,
supposed to be representing
them, but it was the people that represent them. You know, I'm pretty sure they're forces, because there was a few cats coming in there. All this happened after hours, allegedly.
Okay, so this took place.
They came in.
This took place in his office.
Huh?
This allegedly took place in his office.
Yes.
Okay, and this
is the Washington building. He was on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
At the Congress, you know what I mean, it was a wonderful place, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they caught him one night, locking up, and they pretty much tied him up to a chair and tortured him for the information that Ari Adams passed off to him, allegedly.
Get out of here. So we go get back to that on when we dig deeper. But what did he say? What did he say transpired from that?
What transpired from that was they started speaking on the phones, and the feds and catching on to it. They heard that they had the information on the whereabouts of the confidential informant. So they snatched the confidential informant up off the street first.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went and took care of area brothers and the rest of the individuals. So because they was ready to make a move. On
the informant.
Yep, they was ready to make a move on the informant.
So what made them turn? What made the FBI turn on your dad? If you know, they didn't know about him being. What made the FBI close in on your daddy when they closed in on them and they heard the tapes and stuff? What made them pull him in the case as a criminal?
As a criminal, I was already finding certain paperwork,
mm-hmm.
going through his paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
When he just so happened to been in prison, an individual wrote him.
Mm-hmm.
Wrote him while he had just got out. It was around October '89, and he said that 2 federal agents came to come see him.
Mm-hmm.
They came to come see him because at the current time he was thinking about attaining my father as an attorney.
Okay.
When they take him into the room, he asked them, "What's this all about?" They pretty much say, "Look, we want the defense attorney Timothy S. Crawford. We hear that we hear you thinking about having him as your attorney. We'll pay for his attorney fees in order for you to set him up." Now, with that being said, right there, coming from my father's mouth, he wasn't making a lot of friends in the prosecutor's office. He was winning cases. He was getting people walking. You're not making friends when you're doing stuff like that.
Right.
And he also had a little bit of a reputation as they would call him the pimp attorney. I don't know where that came from, allegedly, but he wasn't making a lot of friends.
Right.
And what you gotta understand is when you being yourself, you're winning them cases. Them people don't like that.
Right.
The people don't like that. And my pops was always heavy on being himself, and he carrying himself the way he wanted to. And fortunately, he made some enemies, and he made some enemies in high places.
And so they seized the opportunity to capitalize on his involvement with them and make it more than what it was. You think?
Oh yeah. You know what I mean? They was
Allegedly
some type of deal.
Right.
You know what I mean, get him up off the street. That was their main concern.
Okay. We gonna stop there because we go come back. We gonna come back tomorrow and we go finish up because we go pull out the paperwork. We got Timothy Crawford Jr. here with us, y'all, and we speaking on the Erie Adams case. You know what I'm saying? Since they don't think Erie Adams did no wrong. Erie Adams was a drug lord that turned on his attorney, it seems like, allegedly. So we go dig a little deeper and we go pull out the paperwork and see what the feds had to say about Erie Adams cooperating against his attorney. The attorney seems like the attorney was pulled into showing his being an attorney that's going all the way out for his client and showing his client a solid and doing him a favor and getting heavily involved, overly involved with his case. And then the outcome of that was the drug lord turned on the attorney. You think that pretty much sum it up, nephew?
In so many words, it does.
Okay. So we want y'all to tune in tomorrow. We go pick up on this tomorrow. We glad y'all tuned in tonight. We wanted to give y'all a little something because we putting this together right. It ain't gonna be no rush job. This go come together. We go form it together how it started, so y'all can get a clear, vivid picture of what went on with Erie Adams. Since people think I don't know what happened with Erie Adams, like I wasn't there. So thank y'all for tuning in to the Beef Factory 313. I'm your host, Juice. If y'all have any questions or any of that, hit me in the comments. If y'all have any information pertaining to any case that y'all like to hear, hit me in the comments. If y'all have any information on this Erie Adams case, I'd like to hear from you immediately because this case is coming together. I don't like the fact that people accuse me of not knowing what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's why I bring the individuals who play a part, either themselves or somebody that was right there with them. I try not to get my personal input on the situation. We gonna let the paperwork start speaking for itself, and stop letting these culture vultures and these individuals who wasn't even playing a part just because they read a few articles or because they might have met an individual. That don't mean you know an individual because you met an individual on the streets or in jail. Meeting a person and dealing with a person day in and day out is two different things. Because a person first impression is always going to be a good one. So if you just meet an individual and cross them, of course you're going to have good things to say about them. But get really down and get to know a person before you get to vouching for them. And then when you find out stuff like this, then you be looking goofy. So thank y'all for tuning in to Beef Factory 313. And it's going down. Tune in this weekend. I got a lot of exclusive people coming in this weekend. So I want y'all to stay tuned. I'm gonna bring y'all the people that other people talking about, got other people talking about, but I'm gonna bring them in. You feel me? It ain't go. I'm gonna remove all doubt of what might have transpired because you gonna really hear it from the horse's mouth. Oh, tell them what happened to your father, though, Tim, before we leave, so they understand why you were up here speaking. You still there, Timothy Jr.?
Yeah. My pops, he came home. He was fortunate. He was fortunate to come home right before I had graduated from high school. Unfortunately, I just lost him not too long ago, May 19th, 2020, 1:30 p.m. That changed my life.
After serving how long? How long did he have to serve?
He did 7.5, 8 years in the Fed.
And all what was he trying to do before he passed, nephew?
He was trying to get his law license back. One of the biggest things he always say, man, I'm coming back. I'm coming to get my ticket.
So we gonna help you clear your dad's name and bring back his dignity and respect for being a solid lawyer. You feel me?
Man, I appreciate that, Juice.
Okay, well, we go get down to it, y'all. We thank y'all again for tuning in. Y'all don't want to miss this tomorrow because we pulling our paperwork. So I'm gonna see who got to argue on these brothers' paperwork then. You feel me? So stay tuned tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get down to the real nitty gritty. It ain't gonna be no we think none of that. We go pull out exactly what the paper. We go read from the paperwork. We'll let it speak for itself, and then y'all be the judge. Was this a good attorney? Oh, and was these some slime ball drug dealers? You feel me? Thank y'all for tuning in. Me and Tim, we out. Yeah. It's gonna go down the market. We go